Hi guys. Sorry. Slightly adjusting here. Um let's just say it's been a rough couple of days. As you may notice, today's stream was titled Keeping Your Circle Small. Well, yeah, that's that's a good way to live life. I'm not saying not have a lot of friends or companions or whatnot. I'm just saying your inner personal circle. Choose wisely because when things go wrong, you want to be able to count on people. And then you want people to be able to count on you. But if you're spread too thin trying to keep a large group of people happy, it's just not going to work. And everybody defines inner circle, small circle, their own way. And that's just great. But and this advice is given out a lot. But given the circumstances of the last few weeks and the last couple of days, keeping your circle small, sometimes you have to make it smaller. And it's not a fun thing to do. That's hard because you want to be able to count on people. You want to be able to keep the friends or the family that you do have. And sometimes for your own peace, for your family's peace, you have to, cut people out. And when something big happens, whether it's bad or good or whatever, and you can't share that excitement with people to whom you thought was friends, and then feel supported or feel like they care, maybe it's time to make that circle a little smaller. And this isn't necessarily parenting advice. It's more along the lines of personal. Because the world is such chaos. And no matter what community it is, no matter what goes on within those communities or within society as a whole, it's chaos. And over the years, I've tried to find peace within that chaos because you can't just become a hermit. Not completely. Yeah. I mean, at one point in life, that was one thing I wanted to do was just become a hermit. And it didn't work. So I tried to expand my circle, and that didn't work. So I tried to expand my circle with a different group of people, and that didn't work. And it's still not working because I share things with people. I reach out for help, but it just seems empty. And I don't know how many of you, well, I do know because I have analytics and I can see how long people watch my videos. I can see who's here live. I can see who's here not live. And the video that I made yesterday, it had several views. And given the subject matter, now the one thing I can't tell is if it was shared, whether from here on Facebook, here on YouTube, or shared to other platforms. That's one thing I can't tell. So I'm trying to stay positive about that. But it really made me stop and think about my inner circle. And there's only a few people in it. And while I do value my inner circle, like I said, given what's going on, it just was very discouraging that while they watched the video, and some people knew before I made the video, there was one or two people that the Midland did tell and I told. I don't know, maybe it was just a sensitive topic for some, and I completely understand that because it was a very hard video to make. But if people can argue about politics, people can argue about which is better, cats, dogs, but they can't show support for someone going through that. And she did have the support of one person other than me. But she was just as brokenhearted because a lot of her inner circle is my inner circle. Because I'm sure, as many of you have guessed, given the circumstances surrounding our family, we are not accepted by society in any way. We are judged even by looks. You know, the way people look at us in an aisle at our big box store, or the way I look, or the way I talk. And you get used to it after a while. You honestly do. But what you never get used to is when you reach out for support. Now, a minute ago, I had 2 viewers. One disappeared. And I know who the other viewer is. And people just, and I've done a little research, and a lot of people are claiming that they want real and authentic and things like that. So here I am, real, authentic. I mean, for goodness sakes, you can't get more real than a stay-at-home mom who gets on YouTube with her hair flying everywhere, sitting in a messy office. You can't get more real than that. But yet, you know, everybody's off complaining about politics. Okay, well, politicians are going to do what politicians are going to do. No matter how you complain about it, they're not going to change. So it doesn't make sense to me, at least. It may make sense to you, and that's great. But I mean, but you can change is the world around you, at least your little corner of it. So, I'm sorry, I'm showing that stupid logo. You can stand up for people, even if they're not in your little circle. Because that's how things get better. And then once you figure out your little circle, and your little circle can be made up of anybody. Yeah, see, I digressed, and I digressed back. Woo! All the circles. And you can decide who you want in your little circle. You can decide if you don't want somebody in your little circle. You can decide, oh, they were in my circle for a little bit, but now it's kind of, they're gone. See? But you have to find not only your inner peace, but the people that help you maintain that peace. The people that support you, whether it's, hey, I just got a promotion at work, or hey, I was just able to figure out and learn this new skill, and celebrate with you. Or in the example of what we're going through right now, people that say, oh my gosh, this should not be happening. What action can I take? And then they take that action. And then in return, you can do that for them. You know, you could say, oh my gosh, this horrible thing. Okay, what can I do? I'm here to support you. And if that's all you need, hey, that's great and wonderful. I'm here to talk. I'm here. But then, oh, well, could you help me make this or help me do this? You have this skill and this is a big problem. Can you, of course, can you help? Because despite what society says, it is absolutely amazing that you recognize your feelings and recognize the feelings of others. Empathy, compassion, kindness, those are absolutely amazing qualities to have in a human being. And it's a wonderful thing to teach your children, no matter what some people say. But there's a second side to that people are ignoring, even people within inner circles. And that's the action part, because words can mean things. They go a long way. But actions mean so much more. Because for Abraham Lincoln, did he just talk about doing something, or did he actually take action and do it? What do you remember him for? Taking the action or just talking about it? No. Everybody discusses the action that he took. They don't always discuss his quotes or his biography or anything like that. They remember him for the action he took. And it's the same way now. Some people do. They hold on to those words, and that's what's important to them, and that's fine. But then other people need words and action, and some people just need action. So when you go to make your inner circle or adjust your inner circle or completely start a new one, keep in mind what gives you the most support, what gives you the most peace. Because sometimes, and again, this all depends on who you are. You meet somebody and you hit it off right away. You text, you message your friends on social media, you come hang out, and you think, okay, this person is really this, and it's good and it's great. And I'm going to put them in my inner circle because we just get along so good. And then they move from that outer circle into that inner circle, and then all of a sudden things change. And you may not notice it at first, but then over time, sometimes a short time, sometimes a long time, you begin to notice little things, hey, I need this or I need that, they're saying to you. And you're like, okay, no problem. And you oblige, because they're in your inner circle. But then you reach out to them and say, hey, I could really use this, or you got a minute because I really need it. No, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Okay. And that's where the confusion comes in, because most people think, and some people may already realize this. That's fine. I'm preaching to the choir. But just because a person is in your inner circle doesn't mean that you are in their inner circle. Because there's several layers, there's several circles. So you have to remember that. And that's why sometimes friendships, marriages, and other types of relationships don't go well, because one person may only have that connection with the other, but the other person's kind of like, yeah, they're a friend of mine. I met him here. We did this, we did that. So while you may be thinking so and so is my BFF and we're doing this and we did this. Okay. But are they thinking the same thing? Maybe. Maybe not. And a lot of times with people, it's hard because they don't want to approach that with somebody. It's a very deep emotional thing, to say, well, you know what? We're getting along so great. This is be really cool, to take our friendship, for example, to the next level. We hang out more. We get to know each other better. We do certain things, kind of like that BFF status. And that's hard to do. It's especially if you get rejected. It's embarrassing. So nobody really wants to go there. Everybody just kind of wants to assume that they're both in each other's circle, or one person's in a circle and the other person's on the outside. And that's where it gets hard for people, not just regular people, but for people like the Midland to watch. I watch from the outside, obviously, because I'm her mother. But in spite of everything, she does notice. She does notice. And she's slowly learning about inner circle, outer circle acquaintances. And it's hard to watch her go through this process. Now, recently, her inner circle has changed. And that's a good thing, because that means she's finally branching out socially. But she kind of realized who was who and where they should be within those circles, friends and family. And she's holding her own, but she's still processing things. And it gets hard because, as a parent, you want to step in and help her. But you can't. So I did some of my own personal reflection. And, because like I said, a lot of her inner circle is my inner circle. Just, she's friends with a lot of people, some people my age, and I'm friends. It's one of those things, because like I said, we're not socially accepted, and we're beginning to be okay with that. We kind of do our own thing, and it's different to the world. But I personally have been evaluating my inner circle, and I have for a very long time, because there's other things that have happened, and it didn't go well. And I think that once in a blue moon, everybody should reevaluate their inner circle. Everybody should reevaluate all their relationships, and then ask several questions that are pertinent to their current life. Is this person bringing me peace? Does this person support me? Can I reach out for help to this person if I'm struggling? Does this person judge me for me being myself? Just questions like that. And if any of those questions, depending on the question, is not something that you are comfortable with, then maybe it's time to take that person out of your inner circle and maybe move them back out to that other circle. And yet, you may not be able to replace them right away, but And maybe you don't need to at that point. And then a few years down the road, reevaluate again. Maybe you can bring that person back from that outer circle back into your inner circle. It's a motion, nothing is set in stone. But sometimes when something so big in life that it just shuts you down and overwhelms you happens, you try to reach out to anybody you can. Inner circle, next circle, outer circle, professionals even, and you're just swept away. Now, I understand why we were swept away or brushed under the rug, because of who we are, the way we look, the way we dress, the way we talk, our disabilities even, because that's what society does. But what really hurts is when our inner circle says, yes, we accept you for who you are. We accept you for these things that society doesn't. And then they just, oh, this bad thing happened to you. Okay, well, I'll do this. But when in actuality, we need this. Because what is happening to the Midland can happen to anybody, any of us at any point in time. And over the years, I have seen this unfold on social media. It's called fake outrage. And basically what fake outrage is, when something bad happens to someone in a marginalized community, other people outside of that community, they get upset. For their 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want to call it. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. We need to help this community. We need to help this person specifically. And then when something else shiny comes along, boom, they're gone. They're outraged. Fake. Because they don't dig deeper to see that this isn't just a one-off incident. It is commonplace. It's an unnormal normal for this community. But because it's faked outrage over it, it's never going to change. Those marginalized communities are never going to improve and become unmarginalized to become part of mainstream society to get the same reaction, the same protections, the same everything that other people are used to in the majority of society. And I have seen fake outrage over incidents like what the Midland has gone through. And people have become so numb and desensitized to it that now there's barely any outrage at all. It's just another day for that person in that community. It's just another day for that community. It's just another big deep sigh. Oh, yeah. But then when something happens to somebody that appeals to them, even if it's a total stranger, right? Because that's what social media is. It's just a big experiment to see how a bunch of random people get along in a bubble. They get outraged over somebody that isn't marginalized, and then they work on that. I get it. Hey, you know what? That's great. Because everybody, no matter marginalized, unmarginalized, everybody needs advocacy and protection and stood up for. But when your inner circle does certain things and then they continually, well, yeah, that signals to me that they're in my inner circle, but it makes me question where I am. Theirs. Which circle am I in? Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah. I know her kids. I know her. I know her husband. I know her ex-husband. Okay. So does that make me an acquaintance clear out here? Does that make me on this level of, a little more personable type thing? Or does that make me in your inner circle? And I was kind of a Karen today. Not like that. And I apologize if I offended any Karens, but I guess I can't say the word that I really wanted to use. So I do apologize. But I went through one of my social media pages, my personal one, actually. And I had a friends list of over 250 people. It is now down to 120. Because, like I said, I did a lot of thinking. And I use my personal social media page as somewhat of my inner circle because of society in person. And I posted my video that I made yesterday on my social media page. No one watched it. And if they did, thank you. But nobody commented on it. There was nothing. Just empty. But yet I have seen these people post things. Oh my gosh, this makes me so upset. This makes me so upset. And, okay. But we are in that community where that other tragedy and that other bad thing happened. And when it happened to somebody else, you were upset. You advocated. You took the fight personally. You stood up and you fought and you helped fix that situation. And now that it's happening to us, there's nothing from that community. Now, people over the years, I know how this looks. Trust me, I've been told. People think I'm faking this to get attention. Oh, people don't like us. But no. Trust me. I can put two and two together when someone walks up to me and says, how can you be a mother in a wheelchair? What? Why are you this way? Why are you that way? I mean, so many things have happened. And when I go to tell people, they're like, oh, don't worry about it. That's no big deal. But it is a big deal to us. When things happen to us and there are witnesses, and even the witnesses don't speak up. And when I say, okay, this isn't right. When I advocate and say, this isn't right, the way you treat us, the way you treat my children, the way you treat my husband, this isn't right. Oh, well, you just got to accept it. Why? Well, that's just the way it works. Well, then change the way it works. And in order to sometimes change the way it works, you have to have that bond with your inner circle and do it as a group. That's my other point. Because sometimes in your inner circle, and this doesn't speak for, I don't speak for everyone. I don't speak for this is how rigid and this is how, no. But a lot of times the people that you let in your inner circle are very similar to you. Because you feel comfortable with them. And then as times change, you change, they change, you don't feel comfortable, so they are moved back out. And that's what makes me question if you are comfortable with someone in your inner circle and something happens to them, why not stand up? Why not raise a ruckus? Why not cause a big to-do? Because it could happen to you. And you would expect your inner circle or even people in your little next outer circle to stand up and not have that fake outrage and say, okay, this isn't right. This needs fixed. But you would expect that. And we expect that. Now, I don't go complaining about every single thing. I can solve 99% of the problems because I've had to. And I can get my kids and my husband through pretty much anything life throws at them because I've had to. And yet this is one thing that affects every single human being, not just in my personal circle, not just in my outer circle, but this affects other people and their inner circles, their families, customers, and yet silence. I mean, had I made this, on a TikTok or, I finally used a social media term. I'm old, Had I made this all fancy like they do, had I maybe put on some makeup or, I don't know, done something different, maybe I could have at least got some fake outrage. But I didn't. And to the 23 people that did watch the video, I appreciate that. So does the middle. And I know who some of you are. And we are thankful that you watched. I even had one person contact me. And I haven't known this person for very long. But she's just as silly as I am. Just as silly. And I like that. And you know who you are. But she said that she was going to boycott this restaurant. And she went out of her way to contact me. And she didn't fake the outrage. Yes, I don't know her very well, but I do know when she's upset because I have seen her upset. One person. And that in itself made me think to myself all these years, because that's what you're told. Humans are social. Humans have to have friends. You're right. Humans are social. That's just part of who we are inside. We need that social connection. But when that social connection is just as toxic as society within that inner circle, I had a little bit of a freeze, and that was weird. Then it's time to reevaluate that circle. And sometimes, for some people, that inner circle is one person. But if that person brings you peace and they support you, they advocate, they help you, they do whatever they need to do to maintain their side of that circle, that friendship, or whatever, it's a keeper. But if they just, once in a while, blue moon, just go out to dinner, let's go grab a movie or, ice cream, coffee, whatever, and then you don't hear from them for 3 months, but yet you think, they're in my inner circle. They're there. I'm in theirs. No. Or you get somebody that you think is in your inner circle and it's more along the lines of, you're doing something different with your life that I'm not used to, so that affects me and what I do with you. So I don't know if I like that because I like the way it is and I don't want you to change. I don't want you to do. That's not support. That's not support. Take it from mama. When somebody says, don't grow, don't learn, don't change, don't become a better person because I won't like that. That's not support. That's not a friend. It's just somebody that's using you for whatever it is they may need in that moment. Because as humans, we are supposed to grow and learn and be better than we were the day before. Not to compete with each other, but to compete with ourselves in a way, right? Learning never stops. Relationships, life, it just keeps going. Take it from mama. Mama's advice. Yeah, I move my finger a lot. Now I know what I look like to my kids. At least I line it up with I'm sorry, distraction. Distraction and refocus. So yeah. I ask you to do just a smidge of homework for me. For those of you that do watch my vlog, I appreciate you. Way to go. Keep up the good work. Do a little bit of homework between today and my next vlog, next Tuesday. Really, truly think about your inner peace and who you let in there, who you let in that little circle where your peace is. And if you think about that and you're like, yeah, this is great, I'm happy, my inner circle supports me, I support them, and it's been this way for 1,000 years. Hey, great, awesome, way to go. That means you're good. And you have that peace. That is just perfect. But if you start to think about it, and it's like, oh my gosh, do they really support me, or do they support the idea of access to me when they need something? Really dig deep, because this is a good life lesson. And I'm not saying to maintain an inner circle, you have to cut yourself off completely from all of society and become a hermit. Like I said, no. Remember, your inner circle is who you let in beyond those acquaintances that you meet up for dinner at a restaurant. This is the person or people that you would call or have in a group chat and say, oh my gosh, this just happened. And you're speechless, and they're there anyway. They're there. That's your inner circle. And I'm asking to reevaluate that. See if you have grown. See if things have changed. And you're just stuck in that rut of, okay, it's always been this, it's always been that. But if it's always been this or that, are you just used to it? Or are you at peace with it? And does it improve your life? Does it advocate when you need somebody to advocate for you? Because when you have friends, inner circle friends, you need to have that connection with them to where when something small happens and you like, oh my gosh, I just got this for this and that, and they're there and they go, okay, well, you know what? That's great. I got 10 minutes. Let's go have a coffee to celebrate that. That's an inner circle. But when they say, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, well, I need you to do this. And they just kind of blow over it. But then they come to you for, I had a friend, a little quick story, and I met her in college. Yeah, narwhals do go to college. We don't do very well because it's on dry land, but we do our best. And I met her in college, and everything started out good. First real friend I'd ever had in my entire life, or so I thought. And she pushed me to grow. And I thought, okay, that's one of the qualities I'm looking for in a friend. Pushing me to grow, encouraging me to be better and learn better and experience more of the world. And then as time went on, it slowly changed. The relationship between us slowly changed from that equal support to, well, manipulating. And the more I tried to talk to her about it, the more it was, oh no, that's all in your head. Okay. So I would give her examples and be like, okay, but this made me feel uncomfortable. Oh, well, that's just your past trauma talking. It's fine. It's fine. And then it came down to demands. Like, she would demand that I stop what I'm doing with my family, my children, to go with her to the store. Okay. And I'd be like, you know what? I'm really busy right now. I'm doing something. I'm having fun. No. I don't want to go to the store alone. Okay. I'm busy right now. I'm sorry. I'll call me after you're done. We'll talk. No, you go with me now. Okay. And then as time progressed in that area, I would call her and say, you know what, I really need to talk because something happened and I just need to kind of get it off my chest. It's really putting a lot of pressure on me and I just need a friend, somebody to listen to me, maybe somebody give me some advice. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Okay, well, I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking to myself, you know what, I always drop what I'm doing to do with what you want, but now I just need a few minutes of your time, but you're busy. And it's always, I'm busy, I'll call you later. And she'd hang up. And I was like, okay. So I started to slowly move her out of my inner circle. And even though she was the only one in there, that treatment bothered me. It made me feel like I was not in her inner circle, even though she said I was. And I went to her best friend. And then over time, I also discovered that she had another friend. Hey, great. And I knew this person. Awesome person. Just great person. But slowly, this person had moved me out of her inner circle and moved this person in. Not a problem. The issue I had was she didn't sit down and talk to me. She just did it. And then pretty soon it wasn't even a friendship. It was more of a, hey, if I bake you a pot of spaghetti, could you come clean my house? Okay, it's not what I do. But I'm making you spaghetti. That's your favorite. Spaghetti is not even my favorite meal. And I was respectful and nice. And I was like, okay, but if I'm going to clean your house, spaghetti is not going to cut it. I use my cleaning supplies, my skills. I would like to be compensated financially. Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't. And besides, you should want to clean my house because you're my best friend. That's what best friends do. No. And then it got to the point where I was also doing repairs on her home for free. I was doing other things for her for free. And then I found out that while I was doing all of this work, this uncompensated labor, she was going with this other friend to do other things. So at that point, and this was about a 10, maybe 11-year friendship, I wasn't even in that next ring out. I was completely out. And I was only seen as, hey, this is broken, let's call mama. Or I want this done, let's call mama. So, and it hurt. It really hurt. At one point, she asked me a question along those lines, and I said, no. And she's like, what? I was like, no. And she got real quiet, and she said, but you're my best friend. Yeah, okay. But this isn't what best friends do to each other. And she got angry. And that wasn't the end of the friendship, though. There was another incident that happened that did destroy it. And I've never had anybody really in my inner circle. See, I keep doing this like it's a circle. Your hands don't form a circle. It's like an oval. Maybe a really weird triangle. Anyway, distraction, refocus. That's why I encourage people to reevaluate that inner circle, your inner circle, to make sure that you feel loved, you feel supported. And those people in your inner circle bring you peace and joy and support and love and happiness and silly jokes and the occasional silly prank. Don't tell your kids because. But that's what today's vlog was about. Because as humans, we all grow, we all learn. Even if we think we're not learning or growing, we are. Another piece of Mama's advice. It just may not see it because it's itty bitty tiny, but it's there. And eventually you'll see it. But I'm going to let you go for now because real life is calling. Work needs to be done. Fun needs to be had. It's almost to the weekend. Don't forget my gaming streams. I think that's why I've got a lot more subscribers and things here. But if you ever need advice, Mama's got a few bits and pieces. All you got to do is ask. Find your peace. Be kind to yourself. It's a big one. Be kind to others. It's a very big one. And I will see you next Tuesday right here at this vlog, 9 a.m.